everyone. So this is my testimony about why I went to Medjugorje last year, because if you watch my video, you would have seen that I would have said it was 4 years in the making. So this is basically my testimony. Okay, so I'm here at beautiful Daydream Island. So this is the beach I was on 5 years ago. It'll all make sense when I tell you the story. Okay, it's really beautiful. It's like breathtaking. Yeah, so the reason why I went to Medjugorje is because 5 years ago I was really sick. So I had tuberculosis, so TB. So that was a really hard time for me, and yeah, I went through a lot 5 years ago. So I am a nurse, and so I was just starting my career 5 years ago, and yeah, I got diagnosed with tuberculosis, and I had to be isolated in a room for 2 weeks. And during those 2 weeks, I think they were the most challenging and loneliest times in my life. And that's where I found out about Medjugorje. Okay, so while I was there, like I couldn't go out without having a mask on, and yeah, I couldn't go out, and if any of my visitors came in there to wear a mask, and it was really uncomfortable for them, especially my family. So yeah, mostly I was by myself, and I didn't have really much to do. So I remember my sister would visit me all the time, and one time she brought in a book, and she was like, "Oh, one of these parishioners gave it to me, and I can't read it." So I was like, "Okay, I've got nothing to do. Let me read it." And that book was The Message by Weible, and that changed my life. So it was basically, he was a Protestant, and he wasn't an active member of his church. He kind of left the church, and so he had vision from Mother Mary. He came to him, and she basically led him to Medjugorje. So it's basically his conversion story, and it just touched me, and that was the highlight of my 2 weeks in isolation. And yeah, after I read that book, I was just like, I'm going to Medjugorje. Like, yeah, his words would just touch my heart, and I couldn't believe that these apparitions were happening to this present day. And as a little kid, I always liked Mother Mary appearing to little children, like Bernadette and in Fatima, the 3 kids. So I've always had this love for Mother Mary and her apparitions. So when I heard that this was happening, I literally was so shocked. And so yeah, I was just like, that was the one thing that gave me hope. And you know, yeah, when I was discharged after 2 weeks, I remember coming out and having this really, you know, great conviction, and I was like, I'm going to Medjugorje, and my sister was like, yeah, definitely you are. Like, she was so supportive, and my mum was just like, you might have to rethink that, just because I was like on more than 10 tablets. So, you know, I understand where she was coming from, but yeah. So some people would think I'm crazy, but like I said, I didn't tell too many people because I knew they'd think I was crazy. So I only told my sister and my mum. And yeah, so within those 4 years, I tried to go there, but it just didn't work out. Like, I wouldn't have holidays, or something would come up. So it didn't work out till last year, and even that was a struggle. So I originally booked with Harvest Journey, and 2 months before I was meant to to go to Medjugorje, they cancelled because there wasn't enough numbers. And I literally was just, I had a little mini panic attack. I was like, oh my God, like how am I even gonna get there? And I remember praying and then going on the internet and searching for another pilgrimage company, and that's when I came across O'Connor Travel World. And yeah, I emailed this beautiful lady, Catherine O'Connor, and she's the owner, and yeah, she replied to me within minutes. And it was when I contacted her, it was a week before the due date where you had to pay the full amount, and I literally had a little bit of reservations because I was just like, I don't know whether, you know, I'm going to be scammed or all that. But she won me over because she was just so genuine and loving and caring. I could see that in her email. She would reply to me straight away, and she would always have a nice message for me. And yeah, I don't regret, you know, choosing her company to go with. And yeah, it's gone beyond my expectations. And yeah, I'm just so glad that she does what she does. So her company, like I said, is O'Connor Travel World. And just to mention, she does not do tours, she does spiritual journeys. So I will link her website in the description below if you want to find out more about her. And I do encourage you, when this COVID restrictions lessen and we can go overseas, if you do want to go to a pilgrimage, I would encourage you and to go with her, with O'Connor Travel, you know. And I'm still friends with her. Like, see, she just goes beyond what other travel companies would do. She's like she told me, it's her apostolate, so it's more than just organizing travel. It's a spiritual journey. It really is. So and I'm still friends with the people that I've gone on the pilgrimage with. So it's definitely, she has an anointing on her. So thank you, Catherine O'Connor. Yeah, so that's basically the story of how I went to Medjugorje, my little testimony. And it's just so good to be here. That's right, I didn't tell you about Daedra. Okay, so after I was discharged, I ended up wanting to go with my family, because my family were like, oh, they're going to Daedra Island. So I ended up joining them, and we actually were in early beach, and we did a day tour, and we came to Daedra Island. And I remember sitting on this exact beach with my mum and looking out and thinking how blessed I was to be discharged from the hospital and recovering, and I was so grateful. And at that same time I was really sick, but I knew there was hope for me. Yeah, and so that's my testimony. And so today is really special for me, just sitting here and just being one with God. It just feels so good. And also another thing to mention is, one of the things that meant so much to me, that was something that I looked forward to when I went to Medjugorje, was climbing up Mount Krizovac. So if you haven't watched my video, watch it. I've got some pictures of that mountain, and that was so special for me, because the way Wayne Weible would describe it is, it was a journey climbing up that mountain. It was a healing journey, and I was just like, I need to go there, because I was like, he understood what it was like to surrender everything you have when you have no control over life, basically, and just surrendering it and 5 years ago, that's what happened. I had no control. I felt like I had lost all control, and I literally had to surrender it down to Jesus and be like, you take it, because I can't, like I really can't. And that mountain, now reflecting on it, meant so much, because that white cross represented Jesus' ultimate sacrificing and suffering and dying for us and dying for me. And I was just like, you know, Jesus, you know what it's like to suffer. You know what it's like. So if you can do it, I know that you will give me the strength to do it. So that's what that cross represented for me. And yeah, I'm so grateful that I went with the people that I went with, because I wouldn't be able to climb that mountain without them. So yeah, so I'm just so grateful for today, and for God just keeping me alive. And I hope this testimony does help you and give you hope that God is in control. He's in control of our lives, and especially when we have no control and we feel that there's no hope, just look up, look at Him, and look at Him on the cross, because He knows what it's like. Okay, so God bless you, and yeah, God bless you. I'll see you next time.